Haha, password accepted. And boom, this is where you get to fight the one, the only, the Blink. Well, we're gonna code an entity from scratch. That's the plan anyway. If I wasn't so tired. I need some R juice, some air juice though. I'll be back momentarily.
A few moments later.
I made it. The pre-made entity we use, doesn't matter. It just has to have enough bytes of code. So we're probably going to overwrite, the unused Balrog boss. Because that has a lot of space. But not like a ton of space. Big thing is figuring out how we want him to attack. Like, he stands in place. We could make it to where he freezes you in place. Because that is definitely doable. He can have Zawaru, though. That would be pretty funny. Huh. That'd be pretty neat, I think. Being able to freeze you in place, making you unable to move. He could spawn critters. He could spawn literally any enemy in the game. And we're gonna steal these sprites. They look beautiful, don't they? I'm just gonna go ahead and put him under Regu. That way we don't have to worry about any conflicts with things. Also, we're obviously not going to be using Sue in the mod, so we can just put him in the top left. Or Santa. Rest in peace, Santa. Gonna save that real quick. And now we get to do the fun part. Death sound is gonna be explosion, sure. Why not? Now, how are we gonna code this, you say? Well, we're gonna use something called the Dokutsu Assembler, which is how you write code. And I'm gonna open up two copies of it. One of them is going to be our new code. One of it's going to be a base NPC. I don't know, my jellyfish code. Because any NPC code will start. Because every NPC starts the same way, basically. Offset, we're going to have it for our new code, NPC 10. Defines. Now these are, what do defines do? These just let us define certain lines of code as other things. Like, instead of typing out 0, we can type out left frame rec distance. I know that's a lot longer, but we can do things like sprite width 10 and sprite height 18. And we can just type out sprite width in our code and it's automatically going to refer to whatever's in here. This all just starts the code. This just sets our stack up and stuff. Set pointer is, we only need to run this once. At least if you're using the defines I'm using. You can download them off the right out of the Discord, actually. But that's really all we need. And end of code. This is how you always exit every NPC code in Cave Story. This is how you enter, this is how you exit. Set pointer is just moving EBP8 into EDI, which in layman's terms it means the point EDI is, which is a register, is going to reference all of our NPC data. And that's all you really need to know. So, with that, we have basically our new code. This starts the code, obviously. So we got all our code here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to compare our script state to 1. Or no. I know what I'm going to do. I need to open another copy again, because I got to copy another piece out, because this is a NPC that's going to have a lot of script states, which is what AMP uses to give entities. I know the boss to DOR2 definitely used it. Here we go. And this has a lot of declared variables in here. This was the biggest NPC I ever coded. But what we're going to do is copy these 2 lines because they're important. And we're going to copy this 1 line here. And that is all we need to start an NPC's code. Now what this does is we move our NPC script state, which is what ANP declares, like, you know, this ANP, and it puts it into EAX, and then we're jumping to where EAX times 4 plus where state table is. And basically all you need to know is that basically it's going to do this. All it does is makes it to where when ANP 1 and 2 are set, it's going to jump to the label ANP 1. Like some code here for some code here, some code here for script state 1, and then of course some code here for script state 2. And that's how you code an NPC, basically. This is how you set up a script state to be able to hold it. It's pretty simple, straightforward, once you've used it a couple times. That won't color for some reason. That won't color purple. It's saying black, but it still works. Obviously, for actually I lied. That's 0 and 1 because 0 is always the first state. It's never 1. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make the state standing because that's also cool. That's just it. So move npc dot move x 0 move npc dot move y 0, and then jump render, which we haven't put the render code in yet, which we will in a second. But what this does is this is just gonna halt all NPC movement. Like we're just standing there. Oh yeah, and npc dot frame num 0. And also XOR EAX is just putting 0 into EAX. It's just a faster way for the computer to do it. And also, it's faster for the computer to move registers instead of hard values into things. So this does the exact same thing, but it saves more space. So that's an easy lesson for you for code optimization. Alright, now we have to draw the NPC on the screen. And we're going to open up another thing I made. Oh boy. Or actually, this is already in basically every piece of code ever I've written. Almost. It's going to be a little different because I'm copying this out of the player render code. But no, I'm going to keep it easy. I'm going to copy it out of an actual NPC's code. That way I don't have to remember stuff. We'll open back up that jellyfish code. Metallic drone works. This was the code I wrote for the drone at the end of Tidewalkers, the final boss. This is the render code. Now what this does is XOR EAX. This is putting 0 into EAX, which is just cleaning out the variable before we use it for other things. You don't have to do this. I don't know why this is actually here in this case. We move the frame number into EAX. We multiply it by the sprite width. Add that to the left display value. Add the sprite width to that to get the left and right display value. So what this does is it takes the NPC frame number and it shifts the area we render over to the right, to the right more. So we know what sprite we're working with. This sprite, this sprite, this sprite, etc. And then because and this is just to choose left and right. So frame number makes it move left and right. We XOR it again, and then we move up and down. I'm actually going to have to compare NPC dot direction 0 if jump equal then UD up down render. If the direction is not 0, it means add EAX 10. So what this does is we see if the direction is 0. If not, then we add no sprite. We add the height of the sprite to this. So if we're not direction 0, we're obviously going to be direction 2, which is facing the other direction. Easy stuff. And that's all our render code, really. It's really straightforward, uses math, way better than Pixel's method, which manually declares every single border. Like, it's seriously, for the code, it will just declare the left border, then the right border, then the top border, then the bottom border, and it does this for every single sprite. So we're just running everything through a function that just checks what direction we're facing to tell how high to render it, and what frame number it is to tell how far left or right it renders. And it saves a ton of space, because when you start having a lot of sprites for entities, let me open this real quick. Things get starting to look very bad. Like, we're gonna quickly go down here. Now, this is the save disk code, and this is, it manually declares every single sprite border here, instead of doing a math function that we have put into like 9 lines of code. And to add insult to injury, even after doing all this, like we go down to the bottom of the save disk code, it still runs all this code, which is twice as much as we put right here. Yeah, it's so terribly unoptimized and horrible. And we can just fix that just by doing this. That's what happens when you don't turn optimizer for your assembly on. I'm not in a tuxedo. This is just a shirt. Oh, you mean in the game? Yeah. I just am. But yeah, this is just good stuff to know for any code you write. Please do math. Don't manually declare your frame recs ever. But yeah, once you know this stuff, writing NPC code is fairly easy. You've got you do have to memorize this entire table, which is right here, which tells you everything about an NPC. Like, it's in use state. This tells you if it's being used or if you can override it with another NPC. It's collision data, it's X and Y position, it's velocity, it's alternate velocity, the curly macro, which tells curly where it is, the NPC ID number, the event ID, the entity number. All this stuff is just everything you can control with the NPC. Some of these things, like NPC script state, you can control via ANP, and some other things like NPC direction, you can control via, well, when you spawn an NPC, you can control its direction anyways. So but the thing is, assembly lets you access all this data at any point in time. So we're going to be using that quite a bit. Let's do that. I don't care. Anyway, so we've got ANP 0. All we did was we moved the frame number to 0 and we made the NPC render. Now, even without all this script state stuff set up, just having the code immediately jump to render. So the code's just immediately going to go from here down to here and then end of code right here. And that is going to work just fine. Dokutsu assembler, my hacks, new NPCs. We're going to make a new folder. Modfest mods. Blink.txt. We're going to save that as blink. Settings, CS, projects, Blink's Modfest mod. There you go. And we're going to save those settings. So we've got blink.txt, overriding NPC 10, and we're all good. So we're just going to hit direct assemble on that. Compare NPC direction 0, NPC.direction. Oh, I probably messed up my defines earlier. No, I spelled that wrong. That's what I did. Okay. Okay, I didn't define sprite height either. No, I'm just a bad speller again. Alright. What? Come on. Okay, I see what I did. Copy that down to there. Copy that down to there. Now we're assembling. Attempting to write to game while it's open in Ollie doesn't work either. I forgot about that. The game isn't open, is it? Is it hiding behind a window here somewhere? No, it's not. There we... Okay, it wrote now. There we go. Wrote to the game. We're just going to hit Control-R to run the game. Because I love my hotkeys. So we have our debug door set up. We're just going to warp right over here. And hey, look, it's our NPC. And he's shootable too. Look at that. We've coded our first NPC, guys. There you go. We're going to have to fix the sprite height, though, because it's not what I thought it was. How high is that? That is 32 pixels high. So we're going to go under sprite height here, change that to 32, which is 20 in hex. Because, oh yeah, I should point out that everything here is in hexadecimal, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F, 10. Nothing is in base 10 here. So we're going to hit assemble on that again. I'm just going to go ahead and open the mods window. Whoops, projects, Blink's Modfest mod. There we go. So we have that there. Now the sprite should be rendered at its proper height. And there we go. The entire sprite shows up. Is it? Yeah, that's the entire sprite. Now that we've done this, we're going to do a few things. First of all, we're going to add gravity to it. So instead of moving NPC MoveX to 0, which is what EAX is holding right now, we're going to change it to 5FF, which is standard gravity level for most NPCs in the game. And the thing is, when we get to render, the first thing we're going to throw in render code is move EAX NPC.moveX. Sorry, I can't remember all this stuff as fast off the top of my head because I've been writing nothing but C for basically the last month now. Move NPC.x EAX. Now what this does, this code right here, is every single frame, whatever is an NPC MoveX is going to be added to the NPC's X position. So this is, in layman's term, this is basically acceleration. And we're going to do the same for the Y position as well. And also, I'm going to remove that render right there, so that we go back into our state table. State table is going to check what amp state we're in, and it's going to run amp 0 right now. And we're going to write some code for amp 1 and get that to work in a bit. So there we go. See, coding NPCs is pretty easy. Takes a little bit of knowledge getting into it, but it's not that hard. Okay, why are you over here now? No, I added to the wrong variable, didn't I? Yeah, I added to X instead of Y. I'm smart. That made it move left, right instead of up, down. Oh, and by the way, all velocities, if it is a positive number to a y-axis, it goes down. If it's a positive number to an x-axis, it moves right. So negative y would make it go up. Negative x would make it go left. So we gotta hit assemble again because I'm smart. Also, he was hanging out a ways from the wall because I haven't changed the hitboxes on it yet, which we're gonna have to start fiddling with here pretty soon because we're adding gravity and stuff. So yeah, he's on the ground, but he still has like Balrog's old hitboxes, and we're gonna have to change that. Okay, the top of his hair isn't shootable, but if you at least hit his sunglasses or lower, then he is hittable. Which is close enough. Close enough for what we want. Now, we're gonna make a new sprite. Well, we're gonna make this sprite just something super bare bones. But what I need is a crouching sprite for jumping. He just looks shorter. That is so bad. That is such a terrible edit. Holy cow. Alright. This next part of the code is we're going to give him an amp 1 now. Because obviously AMP0 works because he's attached to the ground. The arms bother me. They should. It looks so bad. But this is just an example. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase npc.frametimer, which is just a variable the NPC holds. We can do whatever we want with it, but we're going to use it to act as a timer, surprisingly enough. So we're going to increase NPC frame timer, compare npc.frametimer 12, jump if less to render, and if it's above 12, this means the NPC is going to run 12 frames where it does nothing, and then after the 12th frame, it will move NPC frame number to 0, 1, 2, 3, which is the new 3, and compare npc.frametimer. This time we're comparing it to 20, jump less to render. So what we do is we do nothing for 12 frames, and then from frames 12 to 20 we are going to change the frame number to the crouching one. And then after that, it's done crouching, we are going to move npc.scriptState 2, and then jump to render. Oh, and also we are going to move the frame timer back to 0. Yes, XOR is actually still faster, even if you only move it to one variable. Or I think it's faster or the same. So we're going to do that. The thing is, script state is 2. We have script state for 0 and script state for 1. So we print ANP2. Now what this is going to do is we're going to move npc.framenum. We're going to move the frame number to 0, 1. Frame number 1. And jump to render, which is redundant since render is right here, but we're going to throw in more code here later, which is going to make it different. So we're going to assemble that real quick. Then what we are going to do is we're going to place something right here. We're going to put a signpost because we need to have access to ANP now for the boss. And it's NPC 800. So 790 is ANP 800. End. And this is 790. Make it interactable. Save that. Do we want to save changes to the exe? Sure, why not? Make sure that's double check that's okay. 790, 790. That's 800 still. Absolutely amazing. We're going to save that all. Then we're going to reassemble this, and then we're going to reload this. And there we go. Now, when we boot up the game, hopefully, if I did the code right, it is going to put us in that crouching frame, and then it's going to move us into a different frame after some frames. There we go. That happened really fast, but you guys saw all that, right? There you go. Now that we have it moving into this frame number, we are going to increase NPC.frame timer again, because reminder, when we left the last script state here, we XOR'd it, so it's back at 0 now. So we increase frame timer, compare NPC.frame timer, compare NPC frame timer to 1, jump if not equal to, okay, no, we need to compare it to 2. Jump if greater than 2 to render. So this makes it for 1 frame. On frame 1, which is the first frame this script state exists, it will run the code that's right here because we compare it to 2. If it's greater than 2, it's going to be 1 when we start the code because we increased it by 1 as soon as we started the code. We are going to we are going to move npc.movex move x negative 50, move npc.movex, move y negative 100. And what this is going to do is this is going to make our NPC move to the left because we added negative to move x, and it's going to move up because we added negative to move y. And what we're going to do is make a state, rename that state to falling, put it down here. So it only adds the initial jumping velocities for 1 frame. Otherwise, it will just add npc dot move x what's it gonna do? It's gonna add 2 to it every frame and add, oops, I did that wrong. Add npc dot move y 12. And what that's going to do is we're going to initially jump for 1 frame, and then every frame after that, it's just going to start slowly decreasing our momentum. And there we go. Because we didn't detect if we touched the ground again or not, so it just kept adding the velocity. But you saw it do a tiny little hop there. Let's make that hop higher. 390. And I forget where I put it, but I have 4 billion tabs open at all times. I forget where it is. I had a text file that was a cheat sheet on how collision works. But we're not going to worry about that. No, we do need to do that right now, actually. Because we need to determine if we hit the ground or not. Okay, here it is. Collision testing. Hit left wall, something, something, something. So what we're doing here is, while we're falling in the air, we're going to move the NPC.collision to EDX. We're going to check the 4th bit, which is 8. It's kind of hard to explain how bit collision works if you don't, or byte-wise operations work. And I'm not going to detail into that, but anding the NPC collision by 8 will let us check if we hit the left wall. Jump if equal to render. Oops. We hit the wall. We hit the floor, actually. 8 is the floor in this case. Floor. So if we hit the floor, then we move NPC dot move X, EAX move, NPC dot move Y, EAX, and we're gonna XOR EAX by EAX, so they're both set back to 0, and we're going to move NPC dot script state 0, EAX, which is 0 again. So when we finish the jump, we're going to reset all of our velocities to 0, and then we are just going to do the game thing. Go back to the original state the NPC was, which is just the standing animation. So check that out again. There we go. We jump forward a bit. I like how there's so little forward momentum, and then backward momentum applied off that it doesn't do anything. So we're moving 90, and we're adding 2 to it every frame. So we're gonna make that jump forward a lot more forward. We're gonna do that 200 and we're gonna do that yeah, 2B should be good enough. One file, direct assemble again. Open it back up. And this is all just some really simple building testing stuff here. Because we're going to have to rework how jumping is done. There we go. Boink. He jumps pretty far now. The thing is, he doesn't... We need to make him to where he always turns and faces us now. So we're going to make the first thing that runs before we even do our script state check is move EAX NPC.X. Move EBX, which is just another storage container we have to put things in. Player X position. Compare EAX, EBX. We're going to compare the NPC's position, and if EAX is less, then jump if less to player is right. Move NPC.direction 2. Jump. And then we'll jump to get script state, because that's what the next piece of code does, which is right down here. So we're going to copy this code out, 0. And there you go. Hopefully I did that right. If I didn't, why am I jumping like I'm on the moon? Because I just want to show off how physics work. That is all. We'll be tweaking the code here in a little bit. Okay, Blink always faces away from us. And also, he teleports a bit because because I messed up his hitboxes. He always jumps to the right though, because we only ever dictated for him to jump to the right, or left. I mean, excuse me. I'm dumb. So we're going to change that jump if less to jump if greater. So there you go. Now, what we can do is we can separate out the move X and the move Y. So we apply the NPC move X, and then we compare NPC dot direction 0, jump if equal to jump X done, which is what we'll just call that because it is done. And then we negate NPC dot move X. So what this does is this just makes a negative number positive and a positive number negative. So now he will always jump the way he is facing. And yes, we will be tweaking the physics here very shortly. And we also got to fix the hitbox thing. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with his hitboxes. Yep, now he always jumps toward us at least. So that's good. Also, we can just keep mashing. And the game doesn't check to see if he's on the ground before he can jump again. Of course, naturally, the game will never let him jump in that case. But the game will never naturally let him jump. But if we interrupt it with another jump, we can just jump while we're in the air. But the reason that we jump like we're on the moon is because we're only giving 12 velocity per frame, which it takes 200 velocity to move 1 pixel. So if we change that to, I don't know, 110, and we change the jumping Y velocity to 500, then we'll get more realistic jumps. If we increase both numbers, it makes the jumping way less floaty. Yeah, that's a way more aggressive hop. Yeah, also look at this. He's just running into the wall. Look at this. This is so wrong. But yeah, now he has little tiny hops. So we're going to change that to from 110 to D0, because remember, we're working in hexadecimal, we're not decimal. And we change that to 400. Or no, we will keep that at 500 because we need him to jump higher. I should copy the data Momorin has, because she's a very tall NPC. But yeah, Blink is now ready to play Leapfrog. And there you go. That's kind of the basics of how to code an NPC. Very basic tutorial. Not super. Everything I've said in this video or stream, I guess, has been stated before in my tutorial, NPC hacking tutorial. Of course, some things have been updated, like how NPC pointers work. But not a lot. It's all basically the same information. But we just gotta fix this, because that Y offset is bull. Wait, no. Not the Y offset. Y offset is fine. It's the X offset. Or I think it's the width. I'm gonna change the width. Do you want to overwrite the exe? Sure, why not? Just have to rewrite that real quick. Now, hopefully this should work. There we go. When he turns around, he doesn't warp all over the place. We gotta make him jump higher, though. We'll make him jump 900 high. 900 units. Because, reminder, 2 units are in a pixel. Or 200 units in hex. So 512 units are in a pixel. There we go. Do I jump like I'm on the moon anymore? I should probably make it to where he doesn't change directions unless he's standing. That's what we're going to change that to. He will only change directions if he is standing still or getting ready to do a hop. So we'll just copy that code here. Hop. We'll rename that to something better. I mean, it's not going to change the code. It's just a more accurate named label. Yeah, now he only turns to face you if he's getting ready to do a hop. Man. There's your crash course on assembly, though. Kind of. I mean, it's the basics, but, I mean, we did write a kind of decent chunk of code here, I guess. We have ANP0, ANP1, ANP2. We made an NPC with 3 different script states. So there you go. I think I'm gonna have to sleep on what kind of ideas he wants to do. Ideas for what the boss is gonna do. I think we've done enough level design, assembly hack, and all that good stuff for this stream. I've been streaming almost, what, 2 hours now? At least. Yeah, I've been streaming 2 hours at this point. Almost 2.5. So I think I'm just going to end it right there for now. So, take this assembly knowledge and code all the amazing NPCs. We'll be finishing this later. Probably tomorrow. Something like that. I don't know. We'll try again.
The next day.
Alright, guys. Final day. We've got about basically 2 hours to finish up our mod. So, let's see what we can get done. Now, from last time, we were just starting on the boss, so it's not that bad. We just gotta finish coding that. I'm gonna take my time a bit on it. Maybe go a bit faster than we were before. Not explain everything in an intimately high amount of detail, because a lot of this stuff I go over in my my hacking guide. Also, desktop audio might work now. There you go. Yeah, of course I'm going to release this. You guys can use the source code for whatever you want. Now, I'm gonna make him able to teleport to a few different places. Like right there, where the bullet explodes. Right here, and right here. And the game can choose between, from here it can variate a certain amount of, area, so he will spawn in this area. And this is just like an anchor point, so it can vary left, right, up, down some. So he can have a teleport ability. Or right here, or right here. Something like that. That seems like a good thing to program. This is going to be 152.8. Now, a tile is 2,000. So we're going to open our calculator real quick. We're going to go under hex. 2,000 times 158 equals 2B0000. So we're going to make print and ANP3. And for ANP3, we're going to make a teleport location. This is the first teleport location. Or the X of it, at least. Then we're going to have one over here, and then we're going to have one over here. Tele A X. Or tele X A equals 2B0000. And tele Y A equals 200. That's... So we have the teleport X for the A position, teleport Y A, and then we're gonna have like tele B X, tele B Y, and then tele C Y. So we have all three positions. And this is so I don't have to write this out every single time. And then B, I'm probably gonna keep the Y the same for the most part. X though, we're gonna do 160. Clear 160 times 2,000 equals 2C. And then 68. 168 times 2 equals 2D. That's actually really convenient. It's just 2B, 2C, and 2D. And I'm going to make that one tile higher. So we have the teleport A, B, and C's now. So how we're going to do this is, first of all, we need the state where... we disappear, so we gotta have a so what we're just gonna do is now there is a special spawn smoke command. I don't remember where it is though. Somewhere in here. Functionless Nox F smoke. I forget where it was. This is the... I think this is the spawn smoke. Spawn something, possibly smoke. Make smoke from death animation. There we go. And this is from the assembly compendium. So make smoke. Push the number of smoke entities, which we're going to do 3. Push the range. Max distance in CS units that the smoke should spawn. We'll make that half a tile, so 1,000 units is half a tile. The X position and the Y position are gonna be next, so we're gonna move EAX NPC.X. Have that lowercase, and move EBX NPC.Y. Now, the thing is, the X and Y position of an entity are always marked in the actual upper left corner of the entity, not the middle of the entity. So we're gonna have to add to these to get it to the middle, and we're gonna add EX 800. 800 is 4 pixels, I think. We're gonna do let's do 7 pixels, 7.5 pixels. And for the Y position, we're gonna do a little bit more. Add EBX. Let's do 14. That's 18 pixels because we're 32 pixels high. That should be about right. And then the Y position is EBX, and the X position is EAX. Do that real quick. I'll add some comments because that's nice. Max units apart. I haven't used this function in a long time, so I don't really remember a lot about it. Now normally what we'd have to do is we would have to call a create NPC function, but because there's already a special function just to spawn smoke, we don't have to worry about that. So it's really nice Pixel included that. So that's the actual spawn smoke. But what we need before that is the teleport blink command. And what we're going to do is push 0, push 2, call random, and it decides between 0, 1, and 2, so that's 3 options. Add ESP8. We add 8 to ESP we add 4 for every time we push something. We have to add 4, so 4 plus 4 is 8. And then EAX. And now EAX is going to hold the result, so we're going to compare EAX to 1. Whoops. Compare EAX to 1. Jump if less to teleport to A. Teleport to A location. Jump if equal to teleport to B location, and if it's neither of those, it's just the C location. Teleport A location, teleport B location, and this is going to be simple. Move NPC dot move X, or move NPC X, tele X A. Is that what it was called? Tele X A. And move NPC Y, tele Y A. Wait, this is the C location. So we're moving NPC X to here, moving NPC Y to here. We're gonna move, then we're going to do that for the other locations. Tele X B, Tele Y B, Tele Y C, Tele Y C, and then spawn. Then we have spawn smoke, and we're gonna jump down there. Jump to spawn smoke when we're done with that. And we don't need to do that for the last one because we don't need to jump because it automatically just flows down there as per normal. So there you go. Now, before we go and teleport out to these locations, I'm going to separate that so it looks a bit nicer. Now, before we go and teleport out to these locations, we should build a script state handler so that when the boss fight starts, it automatically runs these functions at random. Also, I lied about AMP3. We're going to make that AMP4 because AMP3 we need to do some prep work before we do this. Print and AMP3 is like we did for the other state. No, we don't have to make it a different state, but no, we don't have to make that another state. I'm just kind of dumb. What we're gonna do is increase npc.frame timer again because every time a function ends, it should be resetting. Because we use the frame timer in a bunch of different states, we need actually a cleanup function. So I'm going to make ANP1 a cleanup function now, which isn't going to change much. It's just mean AMP1 is going to be AMP2 now, AMP2 is going to be AMP3 now, AMP3 is going to be AMP4 now. And this is going to be the self-regulating code that the boss feeds back into. When it finishes a function, it's going to just feed back into AMP state 1, which is going to choose what its next attack is. So what this is going to do is we're going to clean up all our timers and empty them all back to 0. So this means every single time we run a new script state, we can just assume everything is empty and we don't have to worry about clearing it anywhere else. Move npc c dot. We haven't used the script timer yet, but I'm just going to clear that too. Move npc dot. So there you go. That's cleanup. And then script state 2. So we're going to change that again. 3, 4, 5. So I'm changing that again. So every time, this is only going to run for 1 frame, so that this doesn't have to run every time we need to execute the code here. AMP2. What AMP2 is going to do is it's going to pick a random number. This is going to choose our attacks. And hop toward player. Hop toward player. Here is hopping. hop, jump. Yeah, that's the hop, jump, squat. This is the actual hopping animation. Teleport, blink. Alright, things are getting a bit messy now. Now what was I doing? Oh yeah. We don't know how many script states we're gonna have yet. I should probably write that all out down here. Stand. Stand. Clean up. Choose attack. Now what was 3? What was that one again? I forget. Jumps, hop. Hopping, jump, squat. Hopping. And teleport. And yes, Dokutsu Assembler always colors the last line weird for some reason. So we need to choose between state 2, 3, 4, and 5, at least for right now. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 different states. So amp push 0, push 3, call random, add ESP8, and then we have 4. We have a number between 0 and 4 in EAX. So we're going to compare EX to 1. No, we don't even have to compare it. We can add EAX 1, 2. We can add 3 to it. And this means, and then move that into EAX. So the script state now just holds these values exclusively. Except for, we don't want hopping to actually be in there. We just want the hopping jump squat. So we're going to 1, 2, 3. If 3. So, what is that? Where are we? Dang it. Compare EAX 3. Jump equal to get random. So if it's the jumping hot squat hops, it's the hopping jump squat animation, because that is just going to make Blink instantly jump. We're just going to get another random value instead, because that's not a good thing to get. If it's not an invalid number, we will move it to the script state, and then we will jump to render. So there you go. That cleans up our code, and then we get a random value for anything else. No, we need to compare it to 4. If 4, then get random again. Because we could just make it subtract 1 from this, so it always does the hop jump squat instead of hopping, but this would make it a double chance of hopping compared to any other state we could get. So we'll do that. So now that that's all set up, we now have a random thing that will choose our script states for us. Push that. Clean up. Code. Get random. Whoop, I want that there. Alright then. So that's some code. Now we're going to go back to our teleport code. Yeah, I'm writing code for our boss because we never finished it. All we did was make it jump forward, and it only worked when you ran amp manually. Now we've set up this thing that makes it, if we set the AMP to 1, it will automatically self-regulate, whereas it'll just always feed back into this function when it finishes whatever action it does, and it will automatically choose another action at random. So we have the jump squat, we have the hopping, teleport. So teleport, we're going to increase the frame timer, because every time it feeds back into here, it's always going to be 0, which is at the end of every action we do. Increase frame timer, compare NPC.frame timer, 12. Let's go 25. Jump less to render. If it's greater than 25, then move. Then, if it's greater than 25, we will move NPC.frame num. No, not EX. Well, I'm gonna have to look at my frames again, because these are the frames we're working with right now. If PaintNet will load. Come on. There we go. So these are our frames we have right now. So we're gonna copy these real quick over here. And we're gonna make him raise his hand above his head. Nothing too fancy. And this is right before he teleports. And the frame number for that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So move NPC.frame num 0 for the first 25 frames, and after that it moves to 4. So he raises his hand after 25 frames, and then we're gonna do compare NPC.frame timer. And also, we don't have to use frame timer. We have access to a ton of different variables, which I covered last time, but these are all the things an NPC can use. Like, a lot of them can be used for random things. I'll mark them out real quick, because these all can be used for whatever you want. There is no difference what you use them for. Some of them are hard-coded, but a lot of them aren't. Like, all of these you can literally use for whatever you want. Yeah, all these, move X, move Y, Alt Vel, Alt Y. I just use object timer and frame timer and script timer because they're just the ones Pixels used this whole time for all of his code. Also, script state technically you can use for anything, but you want to use it for something like choosing all your what dictates all your code, like down here, because it's the only thing that ANP can access. So using that to move around your NPC code really efficiently is always a good idea. This is also, again, how Pixel coded most of his stuff. But yeah, with that out of the way, where were we? We were somewhere. I went on a tangent. We're going to compare the frame timer to 55, jump less to render, which just renders the NPC, obviously. Now what happens is we can run our teleport code. And before we start the teleport code, we're going to move npc.script state to 6. This means the next time the NPC code starts, it will run script state 6, which is, and print, come on, NP6. Oh, come on. Which is teleport land. So this means now that we've written out our random teleport code and the smoke that spawns with it, we can add our teleport land. Oh, all right, Dab. Have a all right. I hope you have a great time wherever you're going. Rest in peace, Dab. I hope you have a good time. Just moving on to streaming or whatever you want to do. I mean, if you don't feel like modding Cave Story anymore, that's totally fine. You're abandoning everyone. You can't leave. It's impossible. I tried it. I tried to leave for like a year and I came back and now I'm running the modding community. This is my punishment for trying to leave. Huh. But yeah, seriously. Have fun streaming or whatever you want to do. I mean, if you don't feel like game development's for you, nobody's going to force you to do it. Like, it's a rough road for sure. Let's see. Teleport land. We are going to add npc.movex what do we want to put into move x or move y, I mean, because we want to have us fall down slowly plus gee, I'm thinking of C code again. I've been writing, this is the first large chunk of assembly code I've written since Tidewalkers came out, and I've just been using strictly like C since then. Add NPC move Y 55 or no 35. So every frame we're going to add 35 velocity to the player, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a speed cap real quick. Compare NPC dot move Y 250, I guess. Jump less to speed cap fall teleland. Speed cap teleland, okay. And if it's less than that, we are just going to, if it's greater than 250, we will set it to 250 every frame. And then what we're going to do is we're going to check if we're on the floor again. And we did that somewhere. Collision. We hit the floor. Now, if we hit the floor, we are going to move npc.script state 1, which is our cleanup code, and then jump to render. Now that we have a working teleport command, and we have cleaned up all our code to where it successfully feeds back into itself, we are going to attempt to assemble it, and it assembles on our first go. Now, code rarely works the way you want it to the first time you write it, and so hopefully that this works. It probably won't first time. Alright. Game crashed. That's a very good start. We're going to open it up in Ollie real quick. It's crashing when running state 1, debug, run, just run the game. And the game will just tell us in Ollie like what line the game stopped working on. Alright, it's just going to take a little minute to load here. It's analyzing it. What did Blink screw up this time? Takes a little bit, especially because I have all the like OBS running, which is taking quite a bit of programming space or CPU usage. Huh? Doesn't ever usually take this long though. I guess that's just because I'm streaming. That is really weird. We know when it happens. There we go. Invalid access of memory. Alright. So we know script state 0 works because the NPC would crash on map spawn if it wasn't. So what we're doing is we're gonna check if script state 2 crashes the game. Probably not. Oh, I know what we're doing. We have our random set up backwards to where if you push 0 and then push 0 first, which is supposed to be the highest number, and then the lowest number, and then call random, it will divide by 0. Which computers cannot take at all. So we're going to hit assemble again. We're going to reboot the game. Hopefully it doesn't crash this time. Or it crashes in at least a way that makes me look less stupid than I just looked. Okay. And B-Link teleported, and he is gone. Like, gone. Oh boy. Where'd he go? I guess my tele locations were a bit off. Because let me think, because we're 152 tiles on the X. Let's do that real quick. 152 tiles times, because 200 is a pixel, 2000 is a tile, equals 2A40. 2A40. So that really shouldn't be causing a problem. Because, Alright. So, the teleport code should be working. But apparently it's not. Also, the spawn smoke. The spawn smoke code should be running before we teleport to our new location. I just realized. So after we teleport, we're just going to jump to render instead. So, one file direct. If we, we'll at least check the smoke spawning. If not, then if the smoke spawns correctly, then we'll have done at least something right. Also, I'm going to tell you that code rarely works on your first go around. Like, code never works on your first time, especially when you're writing code in assembly, which is very kind of tedious in comparison to some other languages. So, why is he off screen? Because 200 subunits, 200 units make 1 pixel. 2,000 units make 1 tile, because this is all in hex, so 16 pixels is 1 tile. And, I think what we'll do is, we will force it to, teleport to location C, always. And we will make location C location A for right now. You can't have comments in defines in Dokutsu assembler, so we're just going to throw that there. And telec is, we'll make that player X position and player Y position, because subunits, units for, oh, okay, you don't like that. That totally makes sense. So we're going to remove TeleC right now. We're going to instead make it, instead of warping to the player, or to the location, we're going to move EAX, player X position, and move NPC dot. Now, the reason we can't move the player X position directly into NPC.X is because assembly code does not like it when you move a RAM location directly into a register, because it cannot handle. Or you cannot move a pointer directly into another pointer. You have to use a register to do that, which takes 2 lines. So alright, now we're forcing it to teleport to our position. So we're going to see what's up. If it's not teleporting to our position, then it means it's not teleporting anywhere properly. If it teleports to our position, we're good though. Alright. Alright. That's good. When it teleports, it waits to hit, blink waits to hit the ground, at least. So that's good. He's teleporting properly now. But he's not teleporting to his position. Does he hit the ground running, though? Yes, blink does not do damage to the player. This is just to make testing easier. So I either have very much screwed... No. Oh! That's why. I figured it out, guys. It's because I'm inputting the X position of the map in hex instead of decimal. So 150... So we're 152 in decimal. 152 in hex times 2000 equals 1300. There you go. Or I put in 12 for some reason. 113,000 and decimal clear 8. It's the same in hex. Height is going to be the same no matter what. There's your problem. I have to input decimal, then convert to hex, then multiply by hex. So second position is going to be 160. Decimal on that, 160. Hex times 2000, 1400. And we'll just make that 115 because that's probably right. I'm going to hop down here. We're going to fix this. We're just going to comment this out in case we need it later. And yeah, you can just comment out an entire like block of code if you so desire, like this. So that's gonna teleport properly now. Hopefully. There we go. Okay, here's the thing though. When he does the jump squat bit, he doesn't jump after it. It's because the script state. We don't want to move the script state. We want to just increment it. Because what we did earlier is we threw in some script states before it, and this was a hard-coded value. But now it's going to increase all the way, always go down to this one down here. So that's good. He should hop around again. So that's kind of the basics on how you code a boss. to where it feeds script states back into itself that you can manually control by amp or have it completely self-regulated. I think he jumps with a bit too... Okay. When he finishes jump squatting, he moves the script state to 0. So we're going to move the script state to 0 by the XOR, and then we're just going to increment it, because that is faster than moving it to 1, because EAX is already at 0 for other reasons. Because assembly is just kind of weird in what's faster and whatnot. Really optimized assembly code is very hard to read sometimes. So teleport around some, teleports around. He hops around, and he always hops toward us too. We'll make him, when he first reappears, he will turn to face us. So we're going to steal that hop code bit, and we will throw it into the teleport code. So after the teleport location is decided, teleport land happens. He will always face us until he hits the ground. Player is right. We have to give them these different labels now. Teleland, okay. And I'm just changing these labels a bit, because if we didn't change these, it would hop all the way back up to the code up here that we stole it from. So now he should turn to face us when he lands. Also, if you recycle a bunch of code multiple times, it's just better to turn it into its own function that you call. But we're not going to go over that right now, because we have plenty of space. There we go. He turns to face us when he's landing. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to make it to where teleportation is a little bit more rare. And how we're going to do that is we're going to check compare EAX to the teleport script state, which is 5. Compare EX to 5. Jump not equal to not teleport state. So I don't have to run that code. If it is 5, then we will push 3, push 0, call it random again, add ESP8 because we pushed twice. 4 plus 4 is 8, 2 pushes. And then we will compare EAX to we'll compare it to 3. And because it has to hit 0 or 3. If it's equal, jump if equal to or jump if not equal to get random again. And then move npc.scriptState 5. So this makes sure that we only have a 1 in 4 chance now that if we successfully get 5 out of our random function, which should automatically teleport, it does a quick check for a 1 in 5. If it does, or a 1 in 4. If it fails the 1 in 4, it just does the entire get random number cycle again. Okay, I had a typo there. So we're gonna hit assemble there. Is he gonna fire projectiles? Yes, he probably will fire projectiles here pretty soon. Now that we've got his movement all set up really well. So he hops around a bit more often. He's still going to teleport, but it's going to be way less. I'm going to make his hopping a little bit less aggressive. Make teleport a 1 in 4 chance. So, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, hop. Hopping is going to be a little bit less aggressive. Like, the fall is going to be 2-0 instead of 2B0, or 200 instead of 2B0, and the Y is going to be 800 instead. So that should make it a little bit slower. And the fall speed for Teleport Land is going to be a bit stronger. I'm going to comment that because that's good. Always face player while falling from teleport. We're going to change the speed cap to 450. So he can move a little under twice as fast when he falls down now. Once this is all cleaned up, we'll add a projectile or two. And we'll also probably code that from scratch. Alright. He hops around not quite as high, but that's fine. I want him to teleport. Still doesn't fall quite fast enough, I don't think. We're going to change his acceleration to 55 instead of 35, because that is 20 more acceleration per frame. He's still hitting the cap at 450, but I'm trying to think if he actually hits it before he hits the ground. That's a bit better. You know what would actually be kind of fun is when he first teleports, he moves up. Move Y negative 200. So when he first teleports in, he's going up a bit, and then he's going to go down immediately after. We'll set that to like 400 or something like that. And also, we will we'll also give a random value to the X there as well, because that will look a bit nicer. Instead of just sinking straight down. So, we are going to push 300, push negative 300, call random again, add ESP8, move NPC.move X EAX. And there you have it. Watch for rolling coding the NPC. Idea for the teleportation thing. Whenever he teleports, he explodes and shoots 5 fireballs. That'd be interesting. I'd have to recode the fireball from scratch to where it hurts you. Alright, now when he teleports, he adds a velocity. Going both up and up. There should be smoke when he reappears too, though. Oh, where are you? You're over there, aren't you? It's starting to look a bit more lifelike. Yeah, that's bad. We'll probably put no NPC blocks there. Why can't sim program bosses this good for you? This isn't even a good boss. This is kind of crappy. This is something I'm just throwing together in like 3 hours. Now what was I doing? Oh yeah, smoke on the reappear. So when we move the player to that position, we are going to spawn smoke at said location. Spawn smoke when disappeared, and spawn smoke at location. Now how we're gonna have to do a little bit of recoding here to make this work. But we're gonna do the exact same code as we did earlier, but we're gonna run it again after the NPC has moved. So spawn appear smoke. Jump to spawn appear smoke. So after the teleport, we're going to jump to spawn appear smoke. And it's spawn appear smoke. Now that should work a bit better. Make it look cool. Sim has been playing Minecraft. Classic. There we go. Also, I don't like how there should be something to slow you down to 0 after the when you're falling in the air. Also, when you hit the ground, move NPC.move x 0. What we're gonna do is when the teleport is out, we are going to compare NPC.move x 0. Jump if less to inc to 0. Decrease NPC.move x. What projectiles is the boss gonna shoot? Maybe something like first Balrog boss, because we don't have a lot of time left. We've got like 45 minutes to wrap all this up, so it'll probably be something simple. I'd rather get the animation looking smooth enough and the boss to kind of look fun to play against. Like, the boss jumping out of a cloud of smoke looks a lot more fun than him sinking straight down. Get telefall speed cap, which is right down here. So what we're doing is we're comparing the x velocity to 0. If it's less than 0, then we increment it. If it's greater than 0, we just decrement it. Inc to 0, dec to 0. And if it isn't high enough, we will just jump if less to inc to 0. Jump if equal to is... If it's equal to 0, then we won't bother to run this code, because it's already where we want it anyways. Alright, want you to teleport, buddy. Can you teleport for me? Also, a dash would be kind of cool. Like, that'd be easy to program, too. Alright. He doesn't slow down quite as fast as I would like, but it's okay. Add NPC move x negative 10. We'll make it 16 times as strong. If less than 10, we will increment it to get it to 0. If it's equal to negative 10, then set to 0. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. We got to compare it to 10, then we have to compare it to -10. So if it's in between 10 and -10, we just set it to 0. Jump if greater than -10 to compare NPC move X to 10. Jump if greater to decrease. Otherwise, move NPC dot move X 0. And then jump to get telefall speed cap. So that's the anomaly. If you have to compare to if you are increasing by more than 1, because if you get in between that area, like you're say at 12, then you're at 2, then you're at 2, then you're at +8, then you're at -2, then you're at +8, and the NPC will kind of just jitter back and forth really strongly. So you have to, this is why we have to compare it to +10 then -10. We have to make sure the size is at least double that of the applied velocity. And that's how we move it to 0, so it doesn't do the jitter thing. Dash, like, kind of like Balos dashes or the Doctor dashes, it's kind of an easy thing to just code in. That looks kind of weird. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna change the X and Y velocity applied when you disappear, because we pushed 300 and we pushed -300. We're just going to push 500 and 300. Okay, so this means it'll only move positively, right? Well, we can push. We'll move We'll move EAX into EBX and then run the random function again. But this time we're only going to check for a 1 and a 0. If, dang it, if compare EAX 1, jump if not equal to set xvel set xvel tele speed. I'm trying to give long labels because if you accidentally name a label as something else you've named, it will jump to the first instance of that, and Ollie doesn't, Dogutsu Assembler does not tell you, hey, there's multiple instances of this label. So that's why I'm trying to give kind of long arbitrary names that are very specific so that I don't accidentally do that. So compare EX to 1, jump if not equal. If it is equal, then negate EAX. So this means we'll automatically get a value between 500 and 300, and it will sometimes be a negative value. So we'll jump left instead of right on occasion. And it makes sure we always get a value between 300, positive 300, positive 500, and negative 300 and negative 500. So we don't get this weird thing where we just kind of barely move, or not at all. So that's important. You know when he teleports, he should always go AD. That wasn't very good. Huh, he's kind of not moving now. I probably did a move instead of an add somewhere. I want to see that again. Yeah, I did a move instead of an add. So this is okay. This is okay. We're moving. Oh, wait. We moved the first random to EBX. That's right. We moved our first random value between 300 and 500 because when you call the random function, it resets all of the registers except EBX. EBX is the only one not used, so we have to preserve it by pushing our 300, 500 into EBX from EAX. So we do that, call the function, compare EX to 1, which is going to be the 1 or 0. If it's not, then we used our preserved EBX, apply that, blah, blah, blah. We're good. Should be anyway. But now that this is looking a lot cleaner, a lot nicer, a lot better, now we can go ahead and program a projectile in, because I'm actually happy with how the code looks. Okay, it's not possible for him to escape the arena. It's almost possible, but not quite. Die, 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 Blink. Blink's a bad guy. We're gonna add a check random to negate output, preserve vel and EBX. Hopefully this isn't going too far over your guys' head for what I'm doing. I'm trying to break this down as much as I can to make it really understandable. I realize that the state table thing is like kind of a bit difficult to understand and how it feeds back into it. But it's all explained in my NPC hacking guide decently well. So we have all that, and also like if you're used to C code, like all these freaking go-tos everywhere, which is how you have to write code. So anyway, print NP7, which is dash, or we'll do fire projectile. Now we can fire an existing projectile if we want. Or we'll do fire projectile and then we'll do dash, because we're definitely not making a doctor clone right here. ANP7. Where's ANP6? There's ANP6. So ANP7, fire projectile. So turn to face. We do not turn to face the character while we're firing the projectile. Like as soon as this state begins, we start charging, whatever. And we'll also do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 again. 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, I know what we should do. For the hopping animation, this is gonna be a little nice touch. While hopping, move frame number to 1, and then compare NPC dot move x to 0, or 1. Let's do 50. Jump less to hop vel frame. Okay. This is like a really simple piece of code, but if the velocity is greater than 50, then we move npc.frame num 2. Like, so you know how when Quote jumps, he changes his sprite when he's falling compared to when he's going up? That's basically what we just did there. Check if it's 50. So that's a nice touch. But back to what we were doing. We'll make a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll use frame 4 again. Move npc.frame num 4. So we raise our hand, and we need our hands like out in front of us. But the thing is, how we have written our code does not, because we're using math to declare the size of all of our sprites, which we wrote right here. We can't make the sprite any extra wide. We could with some extra code, but that'd be kind of a pain to write. And we're starting to run out of time. And I'm just doing crappy sprite edits because we literally don't have time. Pretend it looks okay. Just pretend, guys. We'll just copy this because this is close enough. Oh my gosh, this looks so bad. And also, like, this, how we can't make the sprite wider also really helps. Oh boy. It's perfect. Is that about right? Almost. Was it like that? I don't remember. That's close enough. We're like this now. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Frame 5. So we're going to be stuck on frame 4 for a while, so increase npc.frame timer, compare npc.frame timer 25 OX 25 frames and jump less to render. Now, what we're going to do is increase npc dot. We're going to increase npc dot object timer now once we're here. Once our frame timer hits 25, we are going to move our frame number to 5, which is our new strangled sprite we made. We're going to increase our object timer because we need a secondary timer for this. So we compare our frame, increase object timer, compare npc.object timer to 35. This means jump less to and we will move npc.object timer back to 0. So after the first 25 frames, we will do something every 35 frames after that. We can't use the original timer because we need the frame difference. That's the frame number difference. That's the only reason. We move the object timer to 0, so every 35 frames after the initial 25 frames, this code will run. Move object timer to 0. Now what we're going to do is CS Tools Bomb Tooling's Guide to NPC Hacking. And we're going to open npc create.html, which is in my guide I wrote. And we're going to grab this, creating NPCs chunk of code. Now, push initial slot. What this does is there's only so many, you can only have 512 NPCs on the screen. Yeah, we've only got 35 minutes. It's alright though, we'll make it. Push initial slot, 100. We'll just start streaming mods after this. Push 100. There's only 200 slots in Hex, so 512 NPC slots. So you can choose which slot it starts to spawn in, so it doesn't take too high priority in the game. Which projectiles you always pretty much want to start at like 100 or something. Parent. We don't really care about the parent in this case, so it's just 0. Direction, the NPC faces, and we're going to make that EAX. Why EAX? Because move npc.direction. Oh, we want to move into EAX npc.direction. So now the direction is whatever way that we're facing. The Y velocity, we're just going to make that 0. The X velocity is also going to be 0 because the game automatically handles this. inside the NPC code. NPC Y position, NPC X position. I don't know why I'm rewriting that. Move NPC.X, EAX. Move NPC.Y, EBX. We've only used EX and EBX, but there's actually ECX and EDX too. And there's also EDI, which we have been using this entire time, but I'll explain that later if I have time. Now, NPC ID number. I want to figure out which one is the Balrog projectile. Shot Balrog, which is NPC 11. So we will make NPC set 2 Balrog entity. Let's see what that is. 11. Shot Balrog comes from NPC system. Okay. We'll make that NPC 11. That's 11 in decimal, by the way. So decimal, clear. 11 in hex is B. Oh, I was clicking on the wrong thing. Push B. Projectile. Then we call the create NPC function, and we have to add 20 to ESP because we pushed a lot of times. So 4, 8, 4, 8, C10, and then so pushing 8 times gets 20 because hex instead of decimal. So what this does is every 35 frames we're going to fire a shot, and we are going to increase NPC dot script timer, compare NPC dot script timer 7. So this will means after we've shot 7 projectiles, jump if less than 7 or less of equal to render. Other than that, move NPC dot script state to 1, which resets all our code, and jump to render after that. And there you go. Now, the only thing we need to do is we need to put this fire projectile script into our random pool. Which is, we're going to make that 4 now. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we actually have 5. But 4 and 0 make 5, actually. I'm just a little bit dumb. Yes, extra? I only have 30 minutes, I know. So, hopefully you'll fire a projectile and all of it works. Okay. So, we disappeared off the face of the earth all of a sudden. It happened... We know it happened in, because the sprite appeared for firing the thing worked. So, we at least got to this part of the code. Oh, npc.x to EAX. Oh, we did that backwards. We moved EAX into the NPC X position instead of the other way around. We wanted to put that into EBX. So we moved us to the projectile's location, which was a projectile that hadn't spawned yet. So we went into the ether. That's where we went. Poor Blink. Forever banished. Alright, come on. Fire the projectile. Okay, so the NPC code does not manually apply velocity. So we're going to have to do that manually. And because I don't want to write a homing function or anything like that, we don't have enough time. We're going to make it to where we set the y velocity to 0 and the x velocity to move EAX 200. and compare npc.direction 0 jump if not equal to give projectile. So this checks if our direction is left or right. And it will give the projectile, depending on which way we're facing, left and right. Just shoot straight and forward instead of homing in on us. So it just shoots straight forward. 6, 7. Alright, and that code ends. We could make it fire faster and sooner. So I think we'll do that. So it's kind of a, holy crap, we better get out of the way. We'll make them fire 15 frames apart, and we will give them a velocity of 400, because we want just a bang, 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 bang thing. And also, no, I'm not copying any of Pixel's code, because it, at least compiled into Vanilla Cave Story, is absolutely god-awful to try and read. I feel that it should fire faster than that. We'll make it 8 frames between firing shots, and we're going to give it a velocity of 700 instead. Because we want this whoosh, 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 whoosh kind of firing thing. Something really fast. Also, I haven't added sound effects in. There we go. I feel that there should be a lot longer of a charge time on that, so you have a much more of a warning. Let's make it the charge time 55 instead. So there we go. Charge time is now 55. Or no, we're going to make it start at 25. Then we are going to compare it to npc.frame timer 95. And what we're going to do is grab this. And we're going to take that real quick. I like that. Like, my hair flashes colors now. And, you know, this is going to be a little bit tricky, but I'll try to explain this best I can. We are going to compare the last... we only care about, for the flashing part, compare it to 95. If jump less to render. Otherwise, we... after frame 25, we start flashing. So increase NPC dot. We already use script timer, we use frame timer, we use object timer. Now, what else do we have in here? Because we can use any of these. We'll use the Alt X vel. It's called alternative X velocity, but you can use it for whatever. Increase alternative X velocity. Compare if... Compare to wait, Alt Vel V? Oh, Alt Vel Y. I just had a complete brain fart there for a second. Compare Alt Vel 5 to 4, jump less to normal, flash, move npc.frame num. What frame number is this? 0, let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Frame number 6, jump, check, flash and fire. Normal flash, so we move frame number to 5. Now that should work. Now we should be holding it longer. We should, if I did that right, also we should start flashing colors after 25 frames, 25 hex. All right, do your worst. All right, come on, you gotta fire. Oof. Oh, I see what we did. We move, increase alt velocity, fine. Compare normal flash, so after 4 frames, we, if compare NPC dot frame num 5 jump equal to set 6. We'll move NPC dot alt vel y 0. We'll compare to, I did that kind of crappy the first time, so we'll make it better now. Compare NPC frame number to 5. If equal, if it's 5, it needs to be 6. Otherwise, move it to 5. So every 4 frames, it will go into this alternating code, where if it's frame 5, it'll set it to 6. If it's not, it will set it to 5 automatically, because label normal flash is not defined. Okay. It will only swap every 4 frames. I could do a bit check if I wanted every other frame. Everything, all the assembly hacks I'm making have absolutely nothing to do with the mod loader, so there's absolutely no reason it would make it break. Okay, that was correct, but I did the wrong frame number. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It should be 5 and 6. Compare frame number to 5. If frame number is 5, set to 6. Otherwise, move frame number to 5. I'm gonna cheat because I don't want to debug that. I'm just gonna increase the frame number, like, because it's 1 too low for some reason. Yeah, all mod loader code, it does modify some parts of the executable, but it's very minimalistic in what it actually edits. Alright, that's cool. So, it's just going to run through this flashy bit. And then it will compare it to 75. So we want, it's going to be just standing there for 50 frames. Do any of you know what the low hiss sound is? Like the charging shot, sound effect is. I don't off the top of my head. See, this is a kind of fun boss now to play around with, because you never know if he's going to fire shots. Oh, he never turns to face you when he finishes, though, for some reason. Like, if he does double shots or something. Alright, I can run through him. So this is kind of a fun boss now. He needs to turn around to face you, though. If, let's see. 2 we have about 20 minutes to wrap this up. I gotta make it to where at the start, because where is the what are we doing? We're moving the script state back to 1, so it should be checking what direction you're facing. Does it not? Huh. In the cleanup code, it never actually sets your direction to face whatever way you should face, when it should do that. I guess I never checked that. Alright, so in the cleanup code, we're going to make the NPC automatically player is right. Player is right cleanup code. And we're just going to change, that's not hot prep, we're just going to have cleanup code done. Now it should hopefully work. And we're only at yeah, I do need to add enemies at some point. Like maybe some bats or something. There we go. Now he turns to face you. Also, I'm going to go ahead and change starting health real quick. Starting new game. Starting health. We'll make that 10. Yeah, and it wants to overwrite the EXE and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. That isn't going to affect our save, at least. We want it to affect our save, I mean. We're still going to be at 3 health, even though the starting thing is going to be 10 now. It's alright, though. So, Blink now fires shots. He jumps around. He's kind of fun. We got about 15 minutes to clean up this mod before we submit it. So that's our NPC code. Hopefully that wasn't too hard for y'all to understand.